Debbie Pebble here. I thought it'd be really cool to start recording some of my GBL battles for this season. Just a bit of a frame. I haven't played a lot of GBL in the last few months. Unfortunately, I've been really sick with vertigo. So I'm very, very rusty at the moment. We're gonna go from day one. Rank 1 battles, which are always a little bit on the, I like to say fun side of things. They're gonna be some interesting Pokemon that will be in these lower ranks because everyone's just, starting out from scratch again. And it'll be really interesting to see the new meta or the new changes and what particular Pokemon people will be bringing out for this Might and Mastery season. Now, this is the team that we brought in the first set. So we have Chargerbug with Volt Switch, Discharge, and X-Scissor. We have Shadow Lapras with Psywave, Sparkling Aria, and Ice Beam. And then we've got Blastoise with Rollout, Hydro Cannon, and Ice Beam. Now, out of all these, I think the ones that you'll need Elite TMs for will be Volt Switch because that was a Community Day move, and Ice Beam for Lapras as well. Also, if you do happen to have a Shadow Lapras, it is one of those that if you have been playing for a while, you might already have in your stack. If you're a fairly new player, it's probably something that's a little bit inaccessible at this stage. But if you do have a normal Lapras, that could be also playable as well. I found it really fun with this team, so let's go ahead and see how these low-level, these rank 1 battles go. All right, well, we're kicking off here with our first match of the season. So we're against a Drifblim, which against a Chargebug, we're doing pretty well here. It's a pretty good lead for us. We can see that the Drifblim gets there pretty quick. I kind of forgot what moves Drifblim has, and it has Mystical Fire. So it does hit quite hard against the Chargerbug. We went for the Discharge because I'm like, let's just get out of here. We don't want to be hit with another Mystical Fire. They chose to shield, and we're going for the second Discharge to put a bit of pressure on to try and get this Drifblim out of the way. They do not shield the second time round, and we thought, okay, let's go to Blastoise here. So let's save this Chargerbug in the back for later. They bring out an Excadrill, and then they switch into the Umbreon to catch this Hydro Cannon. So a bit unconventional with the Excadrill and the Umbreon, but again, like I said, these are the rank 1 battles. And now with Rollout, we can see like Blastoise wasn't something that was brought in the meta. I cannot remember at any point that I had a Blastoise made. I actually had one made for this particular season. So this one's just been sitting in the back of my storage for a while. And we can see that we can take this Umbreon down really comfortably. Now that we've got actually my favorite through this season so far that I've been using, which is Psywave Shadow Lapras. My goodness, it packs such a punch. It gets to move so quickly. And you know what? Lapras is beautiful. I like, if there's a Pokemon that's pretty looking, give it to me any day. And we can see just like how quickly it gets to the Sparkling Aria. And also, not only will it have Stab and then Shadow, it hits so hard with particular Pokemon. So it's a really, really good spammy one to have, and that was a really good game 1. Again, not what I expected for a meta team. Again, rank 1, people are just testing out particular Pokemon. Let's go on to the next battle. And we're against a Zapdos. Now, Zapdos did quite well in a couple of play Pokemon tournaments of recent, but now with the new season, I'm not too sure if it's still up there. Now, this is where we want to see it. Obviously, with 2 water types in the back, we definitely want to see the Zapdos here. So we did as much as we could. Now, they brought in a Ponyta, which I was really confused about. I was like, oh, great, let's switch out. Let's bring our Blastoise out, get these rollouts, do as much damage as possible. Don't bother shielding anything. If they get to a move, they didn't even, either they didn't get to the move or they didn't have it. They bring out the Zapdos, which was in the lead earlier. So they Thunderbolt us here. We have double Hydro Cannon, which is more than enough. Obviously, Ice Beam is probably more super effective, but in this situation, they did still have a shield. So we're just wanting to try and use up as much energy as possible. And this surely should do enough. Hydro Cannon is so good. And then we see a Jinx. Which I thought was amazing at the time. I was like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen a Jinx in GBL. So it's definitely ticks off on the bingo card there. Now we've got a Jumpluff lead. Now Jumpluff again did very well in the play Pokemon circuit in the last few months. So I was like, okay, well, again, this is kind of a team that, Jumpluff, or Shadow Jumpluff in particular, like it's quite dangerous against our team. So we want to do as much damage as possible, trying to get it out of the way. We can see that they've gone for the aerial ace, and it still takes it does still a decent amount. Like, I wouldn't say it does little. I think it still does quite a decent amount. And yeah, they wait for double aerial ace. We've got like enough discharge here to launch. And again, like I said, I don't really want it to be seen too much with the back, but we up to switch out here, thinking that they'll launch another aerial ace, so the aerial ace is caught by our Blastoise, and then we can hopefully just farm it down with our rollouts, which is amazing. Now they do get to a second charge attack here, probably aerial ace. I don't know my counts at the moment, so with everything that's changed over, it's kind of like gone out of my memory, but it was an aerial ace, because if it was an energy ball, it would be in a little bit of danger. Now, brings out the Shadow Drapion. Now, Drapion is still quite a good Pokemon in this meta. So if you still have one made, I think it's still quality. So definitely don't throw it away. I think it's still quite relevant. Yeah, now we bring out our Lapras. Now, these Psy Waves are not super effective, but again, they generate so much energy that we'll get to the Sparkling Aria pretty quick. They do try and crunch us. We don't get the debuff here, and now they bring out their Sand Slash. Now, it's a bit of a tough situation with the Sand Slash. We do Sparkling Arrow. They choose not to shield, so they're in the yellow. And here we have to go, what would this Ice Punch? But they actually drew a run, so it was actually a good shield from our end. Now we can switch out into the Chargerbug, try and get that discharge off. We didn't make it in time, unfortunately. Now they'll be able to go with an unprotected drill run on our Lapras, but the Lapras is still pretty tanky, hey? Like, we got into the yellow. I thought it would do a bit more damage, but again, we did pretty well. So we go for the undercharge here. Not that it's really going to do too much of a difference, but unfortunately, because of this Drapion and they have a shield, we're going to have to go with, try and get a double Sparkling Aria, trying to get as much damage as possible. And unfortunately, they just win. They win this one. we were not able to win this one, but again, that's what I mean, that Drapion is still quite relevant. Alrighty, into the next battle, and we see Whiscash. Now Whiscash is probably something that we don't see very often, but we had to get out of there. That Chargerbug does not want to see it, and now we are actually against a Serperior. So textbooks wise, this is not the great situation, but they Leaf Tornado us, which is an interesting choice. We go for the Ice Beam, hoping that they don't shield so we can do as much damage as possible to this Serperior, and they choose not to, and it goes down in health by half. So now we just did a little bit of roll-up damage here. I think we choose not to shield. We just let this Blastoise down so we can bring that Chargerbug out. And try and do as much damage as possible here. It can throw an aerial ace, it can throw a frenzied plant, but this Chargerbug, this little bus is so tanky, it can take all of it. So we're going to do as much as possible. I think I almost get close to over 100 in energy, just to try and farm up as much as possible. And we get there with the X-Scissor to try and take this Serperior out. I even go for a nice here, just maybe get a little bit more farm, but we can't. So now they bring back their Whiscash, was from their first was their lead. They did a little bit of damage to build up some energy to bank it in the back, and then they bring the Unovian Stunfisk. So Stunfisk again was a bit of a core breaker in the last meta. I'm unsure if it's going to be quite relevant in this meta just yet. I think it's been talking to some Stunfisk experts, they were thinking maybe it's not to be brought in this particular meta, but I think with the electric type moves, if there's a lot of water being brought around, why not? But yeah, we again farm up as much as possible here, go for the Sparkling Aria. This does quite a bit of damage to the Whiscash. We are no shields here, but the Mud Bomb we should take quite comfortably because this Lapras is so tanky. Again, one of my favorites at the moment with the new meta. I think it's just a really nice Pokemon to play with. If you do have a Lapras, whether it's Shadow or non-Shadow, I think it's definitely worth making if you don't have one already. Now we take down that Whiscash. We've just got this Stunfisk here, and we do a bit of excessive damage, and then hopefully letting a Lapras sweep in the back if we can get there. Let's see. Unfortunately I couldn't switch out straight away, and unfortunately we don't make it. So I probably could have played that a little bit better, but again, Unova and Stunfisk, is it still relevant? Possibly. All right, change of lighting. Everything looks slightly different. To be honest, I had a snack break. But we also actually changed our team. So we moved from our Chargerbug lead, and now we're actually bringing a Serperior lead, just to change it up and see how it goes. We're going straight into a Flygon, which I really didn't expect. I think Flygon hasn't really been, in my opinion, meta in the last few seasons, so maybe it's a spicy choice, but maybe it's their favorite. I'm not sure. Again, these are like rank 2 battles, so at this point it could be auto-rect. I'm not really sure, but we didn't shield a Stone Edge. I kind of forgot what Flygon, what it could have. I was like, oh, maybe it's a Dragon Claw, maybe it's like Sand Tomb or something along those lines. I didn't really think about it, and then it was a Stone Edge. I was like, oh, okay, it took half of our health, but then we switched into our Blastoise against a Wigglytuff that is not running Charm, which was also very confusing as well. So Wigglytuff is a really solid Pokemon to bring. However, I don't think they've got the correct move. We try and launch as many Hydro Cannons as possible, and try and just chip down its HP, because Wigglytuff is quite tanky. We're expecting a Play Rough. So we were expecting an Icy Wind, a Swift. Play Rough is not really the optimal choice. I suppose it's still solid. Don't get me wrong, it still packs a punch. Just not what I expected. And finally, we saw a Fortress. Now, Fortress, I think, has been known as a meta breaker. So people are bringing things like Fortress, things like Chargerbug to try and break things up. It was something that I was like, oh, well, we've got Blastoise, we've got Lapras. I think we're good. I think we can cover the Fortress. And we managed to take out the Fortress there. So yeah, interesting team. Next battle with the Serperior, we go straight into see a Steelix, a Shadow Steelix. Now you can see they switch straight out into a Malamar with the Psywave, and obviously Psywave getting buffed. So we just try and do as much damage as possible with the Serperior. The Serperior actually lands this Frenzy Plants already into the yellow, now red. We're quite comfortable in this position, trying to do as much damage as possible and just chip away at it. We're going for our Aero Ace, seeing if they might shield, maybe go for the more baitish move, but it does enough damage anyway. Now they have a choice to bring out what's in the back or bring out their leader Pokemon, and actually bring out a Jumpluff here. So we go for straight for Aero Ace, trying to chip away at it. This one is actually not Shadow, they actually shield their Jumpluff, and I'm not sure if I want to bring any of my particular Pokemon at the back. I definitely don't want to bring Lapras, so I think I'll probably opt for more of a Blastoise option here. Try and do as much rollout damage as possible. It can't, Blastoise is pretty tanky, so it can definitely take an energy ball, but we probably want to reserve as much health as possible. I still had 2 shields at that point, and now we're going for the Ice Beam. And whether they shield or not, it'll be interesting. They actually opted to shield their Jumpluff, and now we're just doing a bit more damage with the rollout. I think I chose not to shield here, and let this Aero Ace go. Oh, they actually Aero Ace instead of Energy Ball. So we go straight again for the Ice Beam, and they should have no shields in place, so this should connect and take the Jumpluff out. So that's a really comfortable situation, given that Jumpluff is a grass type, Blastoise is a water type, and you're thinking that situation we're in a tough spot. But given that Blastoise has rollout and also has Ice Beam, has that enough coverage to take out that Jumpluff. Now we just got to try and get through this Shadow Steelix with no shields, and we still have the full health Lapras in the back, so it's pretty comfortable from this situation. I think at this point I chose not to shield as a Psychic Fangs, so it's only going to do a little bit. We do get the defense fall, and here we can land the Sparkling Aria as there's no shields left in play. So I really enjoy early ranks because there's all these different teams, and you just got to have to think on your feet a little bit more. Okay, and the next one, we actually have a Poliwrath lead, which is like awesome. They switched straight out into a Roserade. Now, Roserade has got the new buff, as in it has Poison Sting available now. And yeah, they actually didn't shield the Aero Ace. So unfortunately, this Roserade did take a lot of health off just then. The Weather Ball, which is fire type, does hit hard against our Serperior, but Serperior is actually quite tanky. So it's not even into the yellow. It did take good chunk, like almost half its health. And here we see a Galvantula. Now we have 2 water type Pokemon, so Galvantula is a little bit like scary to have to see. I think electric types might be something to, you know, definitely bring in the back, because like I believe that a lot of people are bringing water as well. Now we just made it to the Sparkling Aria, so we can launch that, so that use up all their shields. We have 2 shields in play. We have a Serperior, we have a Blastoise, so we bring in the Blastoise here to try and do as much rollout damage to the bug type. Now, they actually cross poison, which kind of is confusing because I expected like discharge or some sort of electric move, but they've been just using cross poison, so I'm kind of like thinking, going, have they only single moved it? I'm not sure. Then they straight switch into their Poliwrath, and we can comfortably bring our Serperior and launch these Aero Aces. I could have gone for a frenzy, but you know, we just want to do as much, just get there before they did. And they Icy Wind us, which takes out our Serperior, and now we can try and roll out down as much as we can, get enough energy. They actually managed to get to another Icy Wind. We will shield just because, you know what, we want to preserve as much health as possible. And now we can see against the Galvantula. Now, I thought this was pretty scary. I'm like, oh no, maybe they've got the electric move. They cross poison us. So actually not having the electric move, or maybe they didn't get to it, really saved us, because this Hydro Cannon, even though it's been debuffed by that Icy Wind, we managed to take out that Galvantula. So yeah. All right, so these are the like more spicier ones that you might see. A Torracat. I don't think I've seen a Torracat ever in GBL, and now into a Lucario. So again, like these early ranks, if you're new to GBL and you just want to try out, like, you don't have to pick meta Pokemon. You might have already Pokemon you've already made, or within that, close to that 1500 CP cap. Then there's an Espeon here as well. So it's I think this particular team is maybe something that's auto-suggested. And again, these early ranks, you can experiment, you can try out some Pokemon. This person's, the trainer, might be their favorite Pokemon. So it's totally okay. I think having a fire type is interesting in what I've seen, a lot of water types. So maybe not the ideal choice, but again, it might be someone's favorite. Great. And the last battle here is like classic battling, where sometimes you're just versing 10, 11 CP Pokemon. We've got a Pikachu, we've got a Swabble, and we have a Cyndaquil. So that was our 2 sets. The first 2 sets that we have played in GBL. Again, if you're new, if you want to try out some GBL, definitely go try. Like, just bring in a team, just see how you go and get familiar with the mechanics of it. I hope this kind of like video just helps, especially if you're like myself sometimes, where you get a little bit, I suppose, sometimes not scared is not the right word, maybe intimidated when it's like the beginning of the season. I had to personally try and overcome that, where I was just kind of like, oh, I'm a bit scared. You know, what if I get wrecked in my first few battles? Look, you might, but it's all about learning. And yeah, I think by me hopefully doing these, that I can overcome these as well at the same time. So yeah, if you're hesitant to start, definitely give it a try. You don't have to do all 5 sets. You can just do a couple at a time. Try out some teams, try out some particular Pokemon, have a look at PvPoke and see what Pokemon you can make that will be more meta relevant. Or again, you can try your favorites and see how you go as well. Just let me know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to make more of these like little PvP snippet ones. If you have enjoyed the content today, please feel free to drop a like, drop a sub. I would love to grow that sub count this year as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Oh, also thank you to our Patreons. I'll drop them here somewhere. All right.